Well, we're back.
I'm tweeting. Make sure you get on my Twitter account.
At
Fedko Zone.
At Fedko Zone?
At Fedko Zone. We just released the Skylight schedule. It starts Friday. I'm at Woodland Hills. George Novak, unbelievable. You've met George.
Are you arriving by parachute?
I'll be parachuting in, and then there'll be 10 cheerleaders who throw pies in my face, and then there'll be an accordion player who plays on stands on my stomach.
And an organ grinder with a monkey.
Right. Anyway,
and then you'll spit the scores out as.
That's right.
It starts
this Friday. Yeah. We're doing our big pregame show, right, Mike Barker? At 4 o'clock, I'll be on Friday previewing the games.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, right here on Trib Live Radio. We do a big high school preview show. Mike, you know what? Are we doing a game this week?
North Allegheny, Mount Lebanon.
Yeah, we're at that game, too. North Allegheny, Mount Lebo. The defending WPIAL champs against a really good Mount Lebanon team.
So let's start off with that because we'll get to the Pirates and the Steelers, who have their own issues, both teams.
Yep.
High school football starts. You're Mr. High School Football.
It's all about George Novak on Woodland Hills this year. You got to love that guy. He's one of the nicest guys in football. Is that the best team? I think it's the team that deserves to be the preseason number one.
Yeah.
Even though based on they had a young team last year. I remember Coach Novak when I went to his camp last year telling me we're a year away. Well, here's the year. They got some good young talent, and Novak's a great coach. And if you look at Novak's career, it's in cycles. About every 4 or 5 years, he comes up with an unbelievable team, thanks in part to his coaching and the way he's developed that program. They're going to be tough to beat. Woodland Hills going to be tough to beat. But let me tell you, Central Catholic's good. North Allegheny just continues to reload. I mean, half their team graduated or more of it, and they're still full of studs.
Now,
Central's going to be good, though. Central Catholic's going to be good.
You've already named the usual suspects. I mean,
not really. No, Woodland Hills we weren't talking about Woodland Hills the last couple of years.
Yeah, but
and not really Central. No. We were talking about Gateway and North Allegheny last year. Now, Gateway is going to be great again this year, too, but they've had a coaching change. They threw that coach out of there. It was tremendous. But I think, Squad A is going to be pretty wide open this year. But Woodland Hills deserves to be the preseason number one from what everybody has seen in camp and saw from them last year, and they're a young team. AAA is the one that's completely up for grabs. I mean, I think West Allegheny, Bob Palco, there's another legendary coach, just puts unbelievable programs together. Well, you know what? In the common thread through all this, like Bob Palco, Mars, Scott Heinhauer out there, those are really two great examples of what I'm about to say. Those guys start with the 7-year-olds. Now, do I think 7-year-olds play football? No, I didn't let my kids play at 7. That doesn't mean it's not right. Those guys start with the little kids. They run the same offense. They're totally ingrained with West Allegheny football or Mars football. Scott Heinhauer runs a wing T. Okay, if you're going to move into the Mars school district, you ain't throwing the football. Okay, you're not. Okay, you're.
So if you have a son who's
I know
quarterback,
I'm not going to say any names, so don't even try to. You'll never find. But there's a kid that moved into Mars to play, and I told the parents and it happens all the time. So the WPIAL, kids are moving into these public school districts to play.
Fine if they want to.
And by the way, it was a kid's an 8th grader, so it's not a big deal.
I don't care if you move.
So the parents are moving into Mars, an unbelievable football program. And I just told the parents, you better, if your kid's going to be a receiver, he ain't seeing the ball.
Is the kid a receiver?
Yeah.
Why did he move there for football?
That's the thing. You better know what don't just look at the record of the team. You have to look at what kind of offense they've got or how they play. Because Scott Heinauer runs a wing T and he runs the ball. He runs the ball, period. But they do it exceptionally well because they start with the same offense with the 7, 8, 9-year-olds. So by the time they get to high school, the offensive line,
they've been doing it for 8 years.
They've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been doing it for 8 years. West Allegheny does it. Mars does it. Those are the two bigger examples of it. I mean, Woodland Hills maybe, but George Novak is as good a coach as there is at any level. I say this all sincerity. I know, with my crazy skylights persona, some people think I may exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating this. I believe George Novak is one of the all-time great coaches at any level in the country. And his track record of putting players in the NFL
amazing
proves it, okay? He coaches them up. I mean, if you have football ability, you want to play for George Novak because he will find the best place to put you on a field, and he'll put you in an offense that will work. And George Novak is not one of these, well, I just run this one type of offense. He's extremely creative.
He
takes, exactly, John, he takes what his talent gives him, and then he builds around it. I love him as a coach. I'm not, and there's Art Walker. I think is another great coach. Of course, he had his dad mentor him, who was a tremendous coach, Art Walker Sr. And Art Walker Sr. Remember won a championship at Mount Lebanon.
Yeah.
Does
Novak do the same thing as the other guys do, starting at the young age?
I think he influences them, but I think Novak is more of just a brilliant football innovator, but he's also a great leader of young men. George Novak is absolutely beloved by everybody who comes in contact with him. Forget play with him. From anybody in the school, from even the guys who take care of the field at the Wolf Arena. George Novak is one of the true legends of this area. And, of course, one just retired, Jack McCurry. Now, there's another guy who's, kind of hung it up after a tremendous career at North Hills. But we have some real great coaching legends in this town, and I think this is Novak's year again. I just think Woodland Hills is a tremendous team. That's who I'm picking in Quad A. I'm picking West Allegheny in AAA. Another legendary coach, Bob Palco. Aliquippa just looks flat out loaded in AA. And again, the one thing I love about Zemanchek, he's the coach out there. He's been there forever. Is he could be playing single A. You got to give him credit. That is never mentioned enough and you can't mention it enough when it comes to Aliquippa. Aliquippa could be playing single A. They choose to play up.
And they dominate double A.
Now, maybe he knows what he's doing because of Clairton. Maybe he doesn't want to face Clairton. Maybe that's it, okay? Yeah. And by the way, I guess you have to make Clairton. How do you not pick against Clairton? I'm not doing it.
Well, but,
you'd be crazy.
Yeah, but what do you know? How many kids they have coming back?
Well, they've lost 3 Division I kids last year. But I'm going to tell you something. That's another program right there. Okay, and I think Coach Nola's a great coach. The coach out there is tremendous, okay? There's another program that starts when they're 7 and they just play that Clairton football. They play the same offense, but they've got tremendous heritage out there that's built into those kids. It's a shame that school district's shrinking. I don't know how much longer Clairton can survive. Now, I'm talking 10 years from now.
Yeah.
It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And does the attrition at one point stop? I hope so. I would hate to see Clairton go away. But meanwhile, I mean, how can you pick against them? So there's my picks. Clairton, none of them huge surprises. Although Woodland Hills is, a lot of people are picking Central. Some people, Central has unbelievable Division I talent on their team. So, Central's been a popular pick. Mount Lebanon's going to have a really good team this year. And there's some teams in AAA like a Newcastle team. They were 4-5 last year, but they're going to be tremendous this year, I hear. And Montour's going to be great. What an unbelievable athletic powerhouse Montour has become. Now, you got to go out. Now, what's amazing? You and I remember this. Some of our listeners may not. When they did that goofy Dick Butkus ESPN show.
That wasn't that long ago, yeah.
It was a little while ago. I mean, it was
10 years, maybe.
Maybe 10 years. It was a while ago. I think it was in the 90s. But anyway, ESPN brings in Butkus. The program's a total joke. I'm talking about Montour. They win 1 game that year. It's a total soap opera. The school and the program's taking all kinds of shots because of it. Well, ever since that, Lou Ciro then, who was a tremendous coach at Seton LaSalle.
And he had just moved there, right?
Well, he had just gone to
and then he had
Montour,
to put up
with Butkus for a year. He was kind of stayed in the background. Well, Lou Ciro is another tremendous coach, okay?
Seton LaSalle.
Seton LaSalle. Yeah. I have a Lou Ciro story, which I tweeted, by the way, when Gradkowski was played his first.
That was only, by the way, 8 years ago, 2005.
All right, there you go. Well, anyway, ever since then, Montour's their facilities are unreal. They have a new school with a state-of-the-art gymnasium that rivals anything in the country. Their football stadium, which I thought used to be ragtag, is now beautiful. Their facilities are phenomenal. They play in the best baseball stadium in the WPIAL.
There was a time, I don't know if you were here, but there was a time when they were cranking out Penn State quarterbacks.
Montour?
Yeah.
Well, they are one of the powerhouses in sports right now in the state. When I'm talking about everything, baseball, basketball, football, everything, it's just it's an unbelievable powerhouse they've got there.